Now it's time for our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy.
Thank you very much for that, Teresa. And here we are, of course, nice warm weather across the country, but we are seeing gas prices fluctuate. Now, something we didn't expect a week or so ago. We thought there'd be a decrease, more substantial as a result of the switch from summer to winter gasoline. That is a thing, happens every 6 months. We switch back and forth depending on the temperatures. We want to make sure that during the winter you have additives in gasoline that help ignite the vehicle, start the vehicle. In the winter, you don't want that. In the summer, you don't want that same kind of additives because they create significant volatility and evaporation. But what we have seen is markets seemingly rallying back, probably on news that the U.S. Fed dropped 0.5% in terms of interest rates. But I think most importantly, what we're also seeing is maybe hedge funds, money managers, the ones who've been really driving prices of energy down, have gotten the story on China completely wrong. China isn't dropping its demand. What it's in fact doing is hiding the fact that it's buying its oil from Iran, not from Malaysia, and certainly not from the United States or Saudi Arabia to the extent that it used to in the past. So that is a bit of a head fake that is extraordinarily dangerous because we're using 103 million barrels a day, while we're supplying about 102 million barrels. So that's a shortfall by any calculation. In fact, that 103 million may actually be closer to 107 million, but I digress. We've seen an average increase of about maybe a cent to a cent and a half this week, and we're likely to see another increase as soon as Saturday. Penny increase in Vancouver, pushing it up to $1.69.9. The rest of BC closer to $1.64, $1.65. Alberta will move up about 2 cents a liter, as well as Saskatchewan and Winnipeg to, in Alberta's case, about $1.34, $1.35 between Calgary and Edmonton, and with Saskatchewan moving to about $1.55. Of course, in $1.54, $1.55, and Winnipeg and Manitoba a little closer to $1.34, $1.35. While Ontario will see us move back to $1.50.9 on Saturday. That number may not hold. It may drop a penny right across the country. Quebec, of course, 10 cents a liter more, so it's $1.60. And the Maritimes, which just had their slight decreases or no movement at all throughout Atlantic Canada because there has really been no movement on markets. We're likely to see this time next week that they will see about a 2 to 2.5 cent increase for gasoline, but most critically, diesel. Now we start to shift over where diesel prices go up, not just because more diesel is being used by farmers and mining and trucks. It's because, of course, we are now seeing home heating fuel becomes a bit of an issue at this time of year. Once the temperatures begin to drop, and that'll happen after next week, we'll see the futures market respond, and that's likely to lead to, between now and I would say middle of October, an overall increase of about 10 cents a liter. Now, of course, everyone has been cheering the fact that gasoline prices have, in fact, led to lower interest rates and lower inflation. Well, that's what we've been trying to tell the federal government since it came up with this cockamamie idea to introduce not one but two carbon taxes, as well as other regulations which are driving up the price of energy. They do so because by blocking pipelines, which this government has done and its allies on the left and the progressives, it's also decreased the value of the Canadian dollar. And just to put in perspective, Teresa, because the Canadian dollar takes 135.5 or $1.30, 136 pennies to buy one US dollar, all commodities are priced in US terms. It means that we're paying an extra 22 cents a liter on average across Canada for gasoline and for all of our other commodities. So no wonder Canadians feel their paycheck doesn't go as far and that their purchase power is out the window. Woke projects, net zero and things like that have a lot to do with driving up the cost of living. And it isn't just printing money or migration that's doing this. It's also, of course, the issue of affordable energy. And we'll continue to ring this bell in days to come because it's the source to getting us back to where we need to be. And that's to get the country on its feet again with prices at the pumps, as well as prices for heating, as well as prices for just much everything that is touched by energy back down to a more realistic level. We shouldn't be seeing inflation. We should be seeing a decrease in that inflation back to levels that we haven't seen in the past 4 or 5 years. That, I think, would help stimulate the economy more than anything else. And so this time next week, I think we'll see an average increase of about 2 cents a liter. Nothing really to write home about. Prices are extremely low, about 30 cents less than what they were last year. So let's live up the good times, at least for now. Looks like they may change in the next couple of weeks. We'll see you next week, Teresa. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Dan. Again, that was Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, for Forum Daily's weekly energy update.